Hello students and welcome to your channel. So today we are going to start with Locus part 3. In this chapter only, in part 1 we studied what is locus and we also studied the examples related to the locus. In part 2 video we studied the theorems that comes in locus. Now in this video we are going to start with, or we are going to study certain questions, or we are going to learn about how to solve certain questions which comes in exams. So the first question is, in the given figure, BX bisects angle ABC and intersects AC at point D. Line segment CY is perpendicular to AB and intersects BX at P. If Y is the midpoint of AB, then prove that. What we have to prove? Point P is equidistant from A and B, and second part which we have to prove is point D equidistant from the arms AB and BC. Now see, what is given to us? This BX bisects angle ABC. It bisects angle ABC, that means this angle and this angle is equal. It intersects AC at D. Line segment CY is perpendicular, that means this is 90 degree, and intersects BX at P. Y is what? Midpoint, that means AY and BY is equal. Now what we have to prove? P is equidistant from A and B. That means P is equidistant from A and B. That means we'll join it. So we have to prove PA is equals to what? PB. This part we have to prove. Now when we'll do solution, so we'll write here join A and P. Now in triangle, we have got these two triangles. In triangle APY and BPY. In triangle APY and triangle BPY. We have three conditions over here. AY is equals to BY. That is given, that is Y is midpoint. Angle AYP equal angle BYP 90 degree, and PYPY is what? Common. And this was given. So we can write by SAS triangle APY is congruent to triangle BPY. So we can write by CPCT, if triangles are congruent, so AP is equals to what? BP. If this AP and BP is equal, this implies P is equidistant from A and B. Now we'll prove second part, that point D is equidistant from arms AB and BC. For second part, we'll draw a different diagram. What we'll do? We'll rub this PY and we'll also rub this PC, because there is no need of these points. Now what they have told? They have told that this D point, it is equidistant from arm AB and AC. That means I'll consider here one point, that is DM, and here one point, that is DN. So we have to prove that this DM is equals to what? DN. So we'll draw DM perpendicular to AB and we'll draw DN perpendicular to BC. So construction will be what? Draw DM perpendicular to AB and DN perpendicular to BC. Now we'll take these two triangles, because what we have to prove? D is equidistant from AB and BC. That means we have to prove DM is equals to DN. So we are having three conditions. This angle 90 degree by construction. These both angles are equal because it bisects. That was given in question. and this is common. So by AAS, triangles will be congruent. By CPCT, we can write DM equals DN. So in triangle DMB and DNB, here angle DMB equal angle DNB 90 degree each. How? By construction. Second, angle MBD is equals to angle NBD. Why? Because BX bisects angle ABC. Third, BD common. So we can say by AAS, triangle DMB is congruent to triangle DNB. By CPCT, DM is equals to DN. If this DM and DN is equal, that means D is equidistant from AB and AC. This implies that D is equidistant from arm AB and BC. Now the question is, find a point on the base of scalene triangle equidistant from its side. See, we are provided with one scalene triangle A, B, C. Now what we have to find? We have to find a point on the base of a scalene triangle. Let's suppose this is the base of the scalene triangle. So we have to find a point on the base of the scalene triangle which is equidistant from its side. That means from this. So obviously, see, there are two things. One, they ask equidistant from the sides, and the other thing they ask equidistant from the points. If they ask that it is equidistant from sides, so we have to draw angle bisector. And if they ask equidistant from points, we have to draw perpendicular bisector. So now in this question, they have asked equidistant from its side. So we'll take this angle, we'll consider this angle and we'll draw its perpendicular bisector. We'll draw an arc like this. From here we'll cut one arc and from here we'll cut another arc and we'll join this. So this P is the required point which is equidistant from its side. Now what we'll write? Let the given triangle ABC, whose base is BC. Since what we have to draw equidistant from its side. So we'll draw what? Draw bisector of angle BAC which meets BC at P. We'll draw angle bisector. We have drawn angle bisector which meets BC at P. So P is required point which is equidistant from AB and AC. Why? Since this P is lying on the angle bisector, so angle bisector of the arm BAC, so it will be equidistant from B and C as we have seen in previous question. Now see the next question. Construct triangle ABC. We'll construct the triangle ABC according to the measurements which are being provided over here. So BC, we'll draw BC over here 7 centimeter. From B, we'll measure arc 6 centimeter and we'll cut over here. And from C, we'll measure arc 6.5 centimeter. We'll cut here. Now we'll join these two arcs, so we'll get a point A. Now we have to find point equidistant from B and C. मतलब B and C से equidistant होना चाहिए. I told if we have to find point equidistant from B and C, we have to draw perpendicular bisector. So perpendicular bisector कैसे draw करेंगे? We'll take more than half with the help of rounder only. We'll cut one arc from upper side and one arc from here. Similarly from C, we'll cut one arc here and one arc here. So we have drawn this what? Perpendicular bisector, because they arcs from point B and C. Now also equidistant from AB and AC. Also it should be equidistant from AB and AC. If a point is equidistant from AB and BC, that means it will lie on its angle bisector. So we'll draw angle bisector of this angle ABC. So these two lines where they'll intersect, these two lines will be named, the intersection point will be named as P. So this P is lying on the perpendicular bisector of BC. So therefore it is equidistant from B and C. And this P is lying on the angle bisector of ABC. Therefore P is equidistant from AB and BC. So what we have done, we'll construct from given data, construct triangle ABC. We have constructed triangle ABC. Now we'll draw angle bisector of angle ABC. Angle bisector draw करेंगे angle ABC का, and perpendicular bisector will draw, and perpendicular bisector of BC. Now these both lines, these both lines are intersecting at P. So P is the required point. So we'll write here, since P is perpendicular bisector, we can see P is perpendicular bisector. P is perpendicular bisector of BC. Therefore P is equidistant from B and C. Since P is perpendicular bisector and since P is bisector of angle ABC, so P is equidistant from AB and BC. When it is bisector of angle ABC, so it is equidistant from the sides, and when it is perpendicular bisector of the base, it is equidistant from that 2 points. So this is a very important concept which comes in exam, that you have to construct a point which is equidistant from 2 points and which is equidistant from sides. If it has been asked from 2 points, that means we have to draw perpendicular bisector, and if it has been asked that construct a point which is equidistant from AB and BC, like from sides, we have to draw the angle bisector. So now the question is, AB is a chord of a circle. Draw locus of a point in the circle so that it is equidistant from A and B. Again they are saying it is equidistant from A and B. That means we have to draw perpendicular bisector of that chord. See, we are provided with a circle and AB is a chord. This AB is a chord. They are saying you have to find the locus of a point. Locus means it should be equidistant from A and B. So we'll draw perpendicular bisector. I'll take more than half of it. I'll draw an arc above this line and below this line. Similarly from here and here, we'll join it. So this P is the required locus which is equidistant from A and B. Since this P is lying in the center, so this PQ, this PQ will be the diameter of a circle. So what we'll do over here, we'll draw PQ, the perpendicular bisector. Why we'll draw perpendicular bisector? Because if they are saying from the points, that means we'll draw the perpendicular bisector of that line. So we'll draw the perpendicular bisector of AB. If draw PQ, perpendicular bisector of AB, that means PQ is required locus. That means P is equidistant from A and P is equidistant from B. Similarly, Q is equidistant from A and B. PQ is required locus, and this PQ is called diameter of the circle. This PQ is diameter of circle. Now we have to write its reason also. What is the reason behind this? Because we know each point of the perpendicular bisector, each point of the perpendicular bisector, this each point of the perpendicular bisector of AB is equidistant from A and B, and also we know, and also perpendicular bisector always, perpendicular bisector of a chord always passes through center of circle. So therefore PQ is diameter of circle. So this is how we have constructed locus of a point in a circle. I am repeating once again, if they are saying from 2 points, we have to draw perpendicular bisector. If they are saying from 2 sides, so in that case we have to draw angle bisector. This angle bisector is equidistant from this and this. Now the question is, draw an angle of ABC 120 degree. Find a point P such that P is at a distance of 3 cm from AB and 2 cm from BC. Now see, till now we were seeing the question, they were saying P is equidistant from both AB and BC. That means the distance was same. But in this case, they have mentioned that the distance is different from AB and BC. Now what we'll do, we'll construct triangle ABC with the help of rounder. So when we'll construct triangle ABC, let's suppose I'm drawing over here, this is the BC. With the help of rounder, I'll cut one arc. Then this, if I'll cut this arc, this will be angle 60 degree and this will be angle 120 degree. So this is how I have got 120 degree. Now this is angle ABC is what? 120 degree. With the help of cutting arcs only, with the help of rounder only, I have drawn this angle. Now we have to construct a point P which is lying at 3 cm from AB and 2 cm from BC. Now what we'll do, we'll draw a line which is parallel to this given line. How we'll draw it? First of all, we'll find the midpoint of this line. How we'll find the midpoint? By drawing the perpendicular bisector. If I am drawing a perpendicular bisector over here, so I have got this as a midpoint. You all might be knowing how to draw perpendicular bisector. We'll take more than half with the help of rounder only. We'll take the measurement of arc more than half of AB. We'll cut one arc above this line from B and below this line, then from A above and then below. Now we have drawn this line. Since they are saying this is what? This is the midpoint. They are saying 3 cm. So from M point, we'll cut 3 cm arc over here. Again we'll draw a perpendicular line to this. From this point will cut arc like this. So we have drawn this line. This line is parallel to this because these both are what? Perpendicular. So in short, we have drawn L1 line which is parallel to AB and which is at a distance of 3 centimeter. Similarly, with the same manner, we'll draw line L2. We'll draw perpendicular bisector from B and C. This is the midpoint which we have got. Then from here 2 centimeter. So we'll draw again a line over here. Let's suppose this is the line which is at 2 centimeter from the base. These both lines are intersecting at point P. So this point P is required locus which is at a distance of 3 centimeter from AB and 2 centimeter from BC. Question was very simple. We have to construct a line which is parallel to AB and parallel to BC. But when we will construct a line parallel to AB, so it will be at a distance of 3 centimeter and from BC it will be at a distance of 2 centimeter. These both lines will meet at a point and that point is required locus. So I am writing whatever we did. Construct angle ABC equal 120 degree. Then what we did? Draw a line L1 parallel to AB at distance of 3 centimeter. This line is L2. Then draw a line L2 parallel to BC at a distance of 2 centimeter. Both L1 and L2 intersect at point P. So P is what? P is required locus which is at a distance of 3 centimeter from AB and 2 centimeter from BC. So this is how we have covered each and every topic of locus, and with the help of these all videos, that is in part 1 and part 2 and part 3, whatever I have explained, you can solve your exercise very easily. Hope you guys are finding videos helpful. So please do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.